I think watching gay porn, if you're straight, doesn't make you want to do gay shit.
Say that again?
If you watch gay porn and you're straight, it doesn't make you want to do gay stuff.
This nigga's a homosexual.
After Hokazono decided to take a break, leaving us starving, we're finally back with more content to give us sustenance. This chapter is basically the opening of Pandora's box, so I'm not even gonna waste y'all time with this one. Let's hop right into it. We start this chapter right where we left off with Uraha, Natsuki, Yura, and Hokuto staring each other down. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this fight might be up there with the best fights in Kagurabachi so far. I might need to lock in and make a video on it, but I'm not Corey Kenshin, so let me not make promises I can't keep. We cut to that maniac Hokuto laughing like a crackhead after finding more booger sugar. And look at this man Yura. Even he's embarrassed that this is his man's. Natsuki asks if sorcery is allowed before following up with, if so, then why is he the only one using it? Everyone else has been boxing with pure skill alone and he's been the only one using sorcery. Bro is pissed. He's tweaking right now, but I feel like this is actually great characterization here. From his past, we know both him and his brother were skilled fighters, strong enough to stand side by side. But during the Seitei War, Ibuki Misaka was chosen to wield the Cloud Gouger, and when Natsuki thought it was his turn, Uraha was selected instead. That planted the seeds of his inferiority complex. What's happening here isn't just Natsuki being salty that no one else is using sorcery. It's Natsuki looking at himself and thinking, I'm the weak link. I'm the only one who has to rely on sorcery to keep up. That feeling of needing extra help when everyone else is going toe to toe with pure skill. That's what's eating him. His anger is less about Uraha in that moment and more about his own self-doubt. And honestly, that's just good writing from our GOAT Hokazono as usual. Instead of making Natsuki's character flat with his one-sided beef with Uraha, he layered in his inferiority complex, and that makes Natsuki a way more compelling character. Hokazono definitely cooked here. He asks Uraha what's his problem, and my GOAT decides to give the dumbest answer I've ever heard. He forgot to use it. Honestly, it kinda makes sense that Uraha forgot to use his sorcery since he lost it after making his eternal contract with the Kumeyuri. Then he had to give up the Kumeyuri after the Seitei War. Bro's just been chilling all that time for 18 years with no sorcery, so he kinda gets a pass. But still though, this guy Natsuki questioning if he's a dumbass, and considering he was just using it to fight Yura upstairs, he might be right. Hokuto apologizes and says he thought Natsuki would be scared without it. Dog, Hokazono is just beating the crap out of Natsuki's character right now. Then, this man Hokuto decides to pull out that game he used on that granny.
He's gay!
Natsuki says he's gonna let the comment slide before telling them all to go to hell, as Uraha agrees. Uraha sizes up Yura, noting that he isn't much of a swordsman, his swordplay is inconsistent, and his athleticism is what's carrying him. All I'm hearing is that he needs to get in the lab if his goal is to kill a guy literally nicknamed the Sword Master and wield the Shinichi. But still, the fact that he's even keeping up with trained veterans, let alone landing hits in, is actually kind of scary. Then Uraha sizes up Hokuto, noting that they don't know the depth of his true skills since he's clearly holding back. Uraha then admits that fighters this skill are rare. Then the menace Hokuto says they got some nice injuries going and the pain gives you a good adrenaline rush and sharpens your focus, before laughing again. I'm sorry dog, that statement alone just shot Hokuto up in the top 3 freakiest Kagurabachi characters. Mind you, second place literally got horny from thinking about sword fighting, and first place literally took a sword out on a date. Hokuto then said they're reaching the climax of the fight. Then bro casually asks they should pause for a break after the first guy dies. Yura finally had enough and tells his mans to shut up and lock in. And Hokuto does exactly that as they all square off. Then the boys load up another session of Team Deathmatch. We cut over to another level of Kamunabi HQ and Lady Hishaku is up on bro telling him not to collapse, but my guy is sweating bullets. Like bro, you got a baddie all up on you and you sweating like that? He needs to tag out. He not trying to hoop. Put me in and I promise you, I'll show the Kamunabi a real invasion. Then she whispers in his ear and, listen, I'ma need y'all to please hear me out.
Storm.
Sure, the fingertips are gonna be black enough to pass as cold for Santa's naughty list. Sure, the tip gonna be going Celsius for Celsius with the top of Mount Everest. But I promise, it's worth it. She then said she thought that the Kaminami were supposed to be strong before calling them cute. Meanwhile, worst genius over there glazing, saying they're just that strong. Like, bro, they over here doing all the work, you didn't even do anything. Zip they pants up when you done. Then bro just takes a chomp off the guard, and she was not messing with that. Apparently bro's name is Bingo. Bingo? As in Bingo was his name-o? His parents must have been snorting them lines with Reagan in them when they was naming him. And her name is Uran, or Urain? How do you say that? Her name being that feels important because it's also the name of Uranus, the Greek god of the sky. So that got me thinking, what if ice is just the tip of what we've seen, and maybe she will eventually tap into other sky-based abilities? My theory is that she can control the wind, but she could probably lower or raise the temperature at will. That will probably explain why we saw that the rokuhira workshop was on fire earlier in the story. I don't expect it to be anything crazy because that would just be the Cloud Gouger enchanted blade, and Hokazono had drawn a very clear line in the sand between regular sorcery and enchanted blade sorcery. But hey, that's just my theory. But anyways, Bingo says he has to eat or he can't use his powers. Urain says yeah, but he'll get sleepy. Dog must have been snacking because the first time we ever see him, he's knocked out in a chair. Bingo then says these guys are weak, but the elite fighter should be pulling up soon, so he gotta fuel up while he can. Just as bro's yawning, we see more guys pulling up. Bro pulls up with a comb in hand, as we see it belongs to this guy. I know I got it wrong with Bingo in one of my past videos, but this might actually be the nastiest cut in the series. Bro has an entourage to hand him a comb, combs that bird nest on top of his head, and says he'll deal with them before tossing the comb back. If this isn't an aura gamble, then I don't know what is. Either he's actually gonna work the Hashaku, or they're gonna maul him. There's no in between. All I know is if this gamble fails, he's putting his family in generational debt. But my bet is he's gonna get touched. Cause come on bro, he literally has that fighter look. Y'all don't sit up here and act like y'all don't know what look I'm talking about. Hokazono has an interesting character design when it comes to characters that no one actually cares about. They all have that look to them. You can't even sit up here and say I'm lying. But if y'all wanna bet, go ahead and place y'all bets in the comments below. Anyways, Kitty and Hikuri waste no time running in the halls before running into Azami and a higher up. Hikuri says he thought Azami went up top, and Azami tells him they shut down the threat elimination grounds because there was too much commotion going on inside. And yeah, I'd hope the place literally called the threat elimination grounds will have commotion going on inside. I'm not gonna lie, Azami is never beating the traitor allegations if he keeps talking like this. Anyways, he's glad Uraha is alive. Hikuri then feels bad that people are fighting so hard to protect him. Ahira says they'll mourn Kudo and the others later after they wrap this up, and hopes tomorrow will be a calmer day. Hikuri affirms that it will, and he'll transport the Shinichi to his storehouse so the Shaku's hands will be tied. Azami says if only it were that easy. Before the Hiro says they surrounded all the Hashaku invaders. We then see P Shaku surrounded. Strongest fighter in the Hashaku. Yeah, alright buddy. They put the Shinichi up for auction during the Rakuzachi, basically handing it over to the Kamunami. They searched it for a bomb or programming, but nothing came up. What he's basically saying is that it feels too easy, and that's why he's worried. We then see our boy, Hikuri, approaching the unsealed Shinichi, activating his mask, and that's where the chapter ends. Overall, I give this chapter a solid 8 out of 10. This chapter really did great with the characterization of Natsuki and Hokuto in my opinion. I'm eager to see how that dog fight between all 4 of them ends. I'm also curious as to what Uran, however you say her name, what her powers actually might be. Obviously, she can make ice, so it's only natural I say I want to see her fight Hiyuki. But that might be a little overkill since Hiyuki is literally enchanted blade level. But the one thing I'm concerned about is definitely Hikuri. We saw during the Rakuzachi auction arc that Kyoto was taken over the second he touched the Shinichi, and I'm worried Hokazono might take Hakuri down the path of his father. My personal theory, since Hokazono likes making Hakuri suffer, is that he might be overwhelmed by the Sword Saint and probably destroy a good chunk of the Kaminami HQ. All I know is something will definitely go wrong by the time Chihiro and Samura actually pull up. But hey, we'll just have to trust Hokazono to keep cooking. So we'll see what happens next chapter. Until then, love y'all boys. God bless. Stay smooth, y'all.